Since the beginning of this year, I made a total of 27 trades and I made $126,967. In this video, I'm going to be sharing how I make $1,000 a day trading cryptocurrency. So if that sounds interesting, definitely stick around. There are three things that you are going to need first. First, you're going to need a platform to trade cryptocurrency on. Two, you're going to need a TradingView account. And number three, you're going to need an indicator plugin known as the Lux Algo. Lux Algo is an indicator that you plug into your TradingView to use. They are a partner of this channel and I've loved using their products and I use it on all of my trades. They are trusted by over 50,000 users and you do have the option of subscribing monthly or annually. If you're new to this, I would say try doing monthly first. If it is something that's for you, then you can switch over to annual and you can save up to 40% for the premium option. This is the one that you want to subscribe to because it gives you the oscillator matrix toolkit, and this is what I use for 99, almost 100% of my trades. But if you guys are interested in signing up, check out the referral link down below. If you do use my link, you can get up to a 20% discount on your overall subscription. It'll help support this channel and hopefully you find the indicator useful as well. Now, there are three things I do want to share before I move forward. Number one, the goal of this video is to learn just one out of many trading strategies that are out there. This strategy that I'm about to share is probably going to be the least attractive way of trading, but it's going to help you develop a skill where you can use this skill whatever age you're at, whatever season you're at. Number two, the more you trade with, the more you'll make. For example, if you trade with a $10,000 account and the market goes up 1%, you make $10. But if you trade with $100,000 and the market goes up 1%, then you make $1,000. I know it feels like a disadvantage when you trade with a smaller account, but I promise you there is a way to turn $1,000 into $1 million and $10,000 into millions. And number three, you can start off as a complete beginner and trade knowing nothing about technical analysis, but you should still learn the basics of TA moving forward in your trading journey. In the beginning, nobody truly really knows anything about TA. They kind of learn as they go. And so that would apply for you as well if you are a complete beginner. Just remember, the more you learn, the more you earn. So right now we're inside our TradingView account looking at the Ethereum chart. Once you are subscribed to Lux Algo, they're going to send you instructions on how to link your TradingView and your Lux Algo together. You're going to go to the top, click on indicator, and then you're going to go to the invite only script and you're going to click on Lux Algo Oscillator Matrix. Once you click on that, you're going to see a chart pop up on the bottom and it's going to look something like this. Now, this is probably the only tool that I use within Lux Algo. There's a ton of other great tools in there. Like their signals and overlay is probably one of their most popular tools. You can see a lot of the buy signals and sell signals that they give inside their chart. Usually for my settings, I go to the contrarian exit mode. But to be very honest, like this is the one tool I could probably just use and do all my trading with. So this is from March 7 all the way to March 11. This is about 3 to 4 days worth of price action. The basic method, the basic idea is when you get a green dot print on the 15-minute chart, then you're going to enter into a trade. Now, typically when you enter, the range is on the lower end over the mid-range. So I ignore all the mid-range green dots. I only focus on the lower end green dots. And then you would buy on the dip and then you would sell into strength. That could be within a 1.5% gain, a 2% gain, a 3% gain. Now, obviously, if you're a complete beginner, you're not going to be trading on leverage. And so you're going to be getting a consistent 1 to 2 to 3% gain, right? We'll just call it a 2% on average. If you're trading on leverage, then you can do a 3 to 5x, very low leverage, and then sell after you make a 2 to 3% gain. Obviously, if you do hold longer, you could be making way more than 2 to 3%, but the goal is just to stick within that 2 to 3% range every single time. And this is basically what I've literally been doing in this entire market. I've been literally just buying anytime we get these green dots, and then I would sell into strength, making a 2 to 3% gain, and that's how I make $1,000 a day. Obviously, because I'm trading with an account size over 100K, when the market moves 1 to 2%, that's going to be $1,000 a day. And obviously, if you trade with a much smaller account, you're not going to be seeing $1,000 a day. But you could start off with a $10,000 account and get $100 a day, or start with a $1,000 account and make $1 to $2 a day. And this is the real reason why I'm making this video. It is not to share how I make $1,000 a day, because that part I'm already done. I shared how I do it. But the real reason why you're watching this video is because I wanted to share my method. It is called the 2% strategy, and that is compounding 2% gains over and over and over again, and you will see greater returns doing that over a period of time versus just holding one asset and just riding it up 2 to 3x. Let's say you start off with $1,000, right? And then you're gonna make 10 trades at 2%. Some people would say just buy $1,000 worth of something, let it ride up 20% and sell it. You could do that, right? But if you calculate it, well, you've made a total of $1,218, almost $220, right? So one would argue, why would you enter and exit a trade 10 times just to make $20 more? This is where the power of compound interest really comes in. Let's say you did 20 trades at 2%. That's basically you're riding up the market 40%. If you rode up the market 40%, you'd be up $400, but this time you're up $485. If you did 50 trades at 2% over and over again, you would have made a profit of $1,691. That is an additional $691 that you would have in your account versus just holding whatever asset you're holding and riding that up 100%. And so what you're doing is you're constantly locking in profits, and you're using those profits to enter a trade again, make another 2%, sell, and then enter another trade, use those profits again, ride up another 2%, sell. And now we're going to change it to 100 trades at 2%. You're going to be at $7,244. So instead of your $1,000 turning into $3,000, because 100 times 2 is 200%, that's a 3x in the market. Now you have $7,244. You have 2 times more than what you would initially have. Now, what gets crazier is, let's say you trade every single day. I don't think you will. I mean, you're going to have some losses. Keep that in mind. You will have some losses. You'll average out. But let's say you successfully made 365 trades at 2% each time, starting at $1,000. Well, by the end of 1 year, your total balance of your account will be $1.3 million. Let that soak in. Just a little bit. Let that soak in. You trade with a $10,000 account to start with, and you make 2%, and you lock that in over and over and over again. Well, that just became $13.7 million. This is the power of compound interest. Yes, you can put $10,000 into a coin. It does a 10x. You have 100K. That's the easiest 100K you'll make, if it 10x's, of course. But oftentimes, people don't get that lucky in finding a coin that early that 10x's. Usually, they get maybe a 2x or a 3x, and they hold for months or even years. Because with most people, it's what price do I buy and what price do I sell at? But with this 2% strategy, it doesn't matter what price you're buying at. It doesn't matter where you're buying. You can buy anywhere around here. The price doesn't matter. 3,000, 4,000, 2,000, it doesn't matter, because if I continuously practice and develop a skill where I can buy and sell and develop a character where I can manage my emotions and be content with the profit that I made, with the 2 to 3% I make, then over time, those gains will compound and you're going to see your account grow. If you look at the oscillator matrix, there are so many opportunities to enter into trades every single day. Are you going to get every single one in? Probably not, right? Some of these happen when I'm sleeping. Some of them happen when I'm out. Like, I'm not going to be able to make every single trade. But the idea is that it's possible, right? Like, you could have bought here and buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. And maybe by here, you would have not been in a position because we're way too high up. And then we get a nice little dip. And then you could have bought maybe an average price over here, and then you could have sold back up here. You just never know where the market's going to be at. You just truly never know, right? Like Bitcoin, if you held from like here to here, yeah, hindsight, like a 18 to 20% gain is very, very attractive, right? But what if the market does correct down another 10%? Then you'd be only up like 6, 7, 8, 9%. You can use any strategy that you have. But personally for myself, the oscillator matrix by Lux Algo has been the most useful tool when it comes to trading, entering, exiting. It gives me confirmation on when, because there are times where I'm like, do I enter? Do I exit? Like, when is a good time to go in? It's more of like, when do I get in versus when do I exit? Because the exit is usually, okay, 2-3%, I'm out. Like, I don't care if it goes up 5%. I don't care if it goes up another 10%. I don't care, because all my main goal is just to lock in a consistent 2-3%. I probably said that so many times throughout this video. I'm so sorry if it's so repetitive, but these green dots and these buy signals on the oscillator matrix is just so helpful. There's an important quote that I always tell myself, that is that I can never time the bottom, I can never time the top, but there is so much opportunity and money to be made in the middle. You cannot view the market as I want to 2x, 3x my money. I want to buy the bottom and I want to sell at the top. That is one way to view the market. I think majority of the people view the market that way. But the way that I've learned to treat the market is that it's a money-making machine. It is a machine. It is a place that I can go to and make money. I don't care what the price is at. All I want to focus is just making those few 2-3% gains and locking those profits in every single time. Now, this strategy does require you to go like all in and all out all at once. That means that like if you got $1,000, you're buying in all at once, writing that 2% and exiting. Some people can see this and view it as like very unwise and not smart and way too risky. That is why make sure you trade with an amount that you are comfortable with. But there was one podcast that I was listening to about a trader who turned $100,000 into millions. And one of the question was, oh, do you go in like 10% at a time and 20% at a time? And do you scale into your trade? And the guy's response was, no, I just go all in, make my gains, and all out. And if I lose, then I lose a little bit and I sell at a loss. And I sat there thinking, listening to that podcast, and was like, really? Like this guy does the complete opposite of what every trader says, of what everyone recommends. Everyone says scale into your trades, dollar cost average down. If you're dollar cost averaging down and you're holding long term, that makes sense. But when it comes to trading, like, you're all in and you're all out. And it makes sense, right? When you have a set strategy and a plan and decide to go in and out at a certain point, like his strategy makes sense. It sounds crazy, but it makes sense. Now I'm ready for the comment section, right? I know the comment section there's gonna be a ton of people that are gonna say this is the worst way to trade. There's gonna be a ton of people that say like this way of trading is not good and stuff like that. And I get it. I get why. And I think this is why I'm practicing it and this is why I'm doing it. And I'll share my results as the months go by. But again, this is just one out of many. There are so many other risky ways to trade. People will literally use 10% of their portfolio and do like a 20x and blow it up. And then they'll do it again. And like doing a 20 to 30x or 50x leverage, to me, that's way too risky. That's just like, I will never do that, right? But going for like a 5x and using your entire account and then just riding it up 2% and selling it, I feel like is a much more conservative way of trading. But yeah, as you trade, you'll learn to take losses and be okay with those losses and then move on to your next trade and make it back and rinse and repeat. And earlier to my point, right? Like technical analysis, if you know your TA, like there are times where you can still hold at a loss because you know the market's going to bounce because either it's holding a certain support level or you realize it's creating like a descending wedge or like a inverse head and shoulder. Like when you can recognize these patterns in the market, you're not necessarily panicking, but you're just kind of like waiting for those patterns to play out and you break even. There was one trade I remember I was down like 45K on a rose position. And I was looking at the charts and I was like, all right, well, it just kind of retraced back to the 618 Fibonacci level. Like this is where shorts usually take profits. Things should go back up. And eventually I sold it at like a 15K profit. Like right now at the time of making this video, I'm down around like 12K. But I ended up selling at a minimal loss, break even, or a small profit if there is a screenshot in this video. As we're speaking, now I'm down $1,000 because this was a descending broadening wedge. And we're back at my entry price. Let's get back into the green. There we go. We're back in the green. And I'm trying to exit with a little bit of profit. There we go. We're getting a bit of a pullback now because the broadening wedge target has been hit. So although this strategy doesn't require you to technically know any TA because of the oscillator matrix, I do highly recommend or even make it almost mandatory for you to learn TA as you start your trading journey. Learn one pattern at a time, one signal at a time, one indicator at a time, and grow your arsenal in your indicators. Everything that I buy and sell, I do post within my Discord. It is linked to my Patreon membership. If you guys want to check out the Patreon group, check out the link down below. It's not what it used to be. I used to post a lot more for like fundamentals and news, but the Patreon is now just like specifically for the Discord group. Like once you sign up, you have access to the Discord group. And this is just where I just share my trades. Like I'll share like my goals, my targets, like my profits. Like if I had a trading diary, this would be it. Obviously, you wouldn't really join to use this as a signal. I wouldn't recommend joining groups to just, solely for signals. But if you do join the group, you're learning basically my behaviors on how often I exit and enter, my thought processes while I'm in a trade, in hopes that you develop your own later on. Again, this trading strategy is not like a 10x, 100x kind of strategy. It is just a consistent 2 to 3% locking your profits over and over and over again. Compound those gains and make 2% again and again and again. And eventually you will see results. It'll be very hard to see those results in the beginning, but later on they'll be exponential. Now, one last thing I do want to talk about is make sure if you do use an exchange, try to find an exchange with low fees. I know people argue like, man, if you're going in and out of that trade so many times, like the fees are going to rack up. And I understand that, right? But when I look at my $126,000 in profit, I'm not thinking about how much I paid in fees. I'm thinking about how much I made. Sure, maybe if I just held on at the beginning and just wrote it up, I would have been in very similar profit. But over the months and weeks, I'm gonna start to see that account grow significantly more as I make 2 to 3% gains over and over and over again. So never think about how much it's going to cost, but how much you can make. Well, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you guys check out the links down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video over. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Good night, good morning, adios.